right, everyone, welcome back into another Go Throw production. This is the round one front nine coverage from the 2025 Egmonster Disc Golf Classic presented by RPM. This is FPO coverage. I'm Nate Perkins, joined here with five-time world champion Juliana Korver. What did you think about this property and this setting for the game?
Absolutely loved it. It was absolutely gorgeous. The mountain in the background, super green, lush vegetation. I really, really like this course.
And we have a wonderful card today, including yourself. Pretty much disc golf royalty here in New Zealand. They roll out the red carpet for all of us, but Sofia Donnecke, first time to New Zealand. We got to see a little bit of her out on the DGPT.
Not her first time down under, though, because she played in the Team WIFDIF Championships that were in Australia not too long ago.
All right, good deal. And here is a rising star in the FPO scene, Taylor Chocek out of Eugene, Oregon. She has a track and field background. She ran the heptathlon at the University of Oregon in Eugene.
And she really utilizes those long levers of hers.
And Nicola Stout, Nicola Stout, the mother of Ethan and Levi Stout, two of the best disc golfers in New Zealand. And we'll be talking about the wind quite a bit out here. It was the single biggest factor of this tournament.
It certainly was. We just saw the flyby of hole number one. This is 732 feet. There is OB both right and left. It comes into play off the tee on the left-hand side first.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the
right
Egmonster 2025 presented by RPM Discs. We're here at the Inglewood Golf Club in the heart of Taranaki for the very first event on the 2025 Tour Down Under season. This is FPO Round 1 feature card. And we're joined by some of the best in the world here in New Zealand for the official pre-season of the disc golf year. I'm going to hand over to Dwayne Goodman of the Taranaki Disc Golf Club to send us off.
Okay, first on the tee, all the way from Orange City, Iowa, current Hall of Famer, it's Juliana Korver.
Actually looks relatively calm for this first tee shot.
Day, well, compared to the final day, both first and second day were calm.
Next up from
The
Victoria,
trouble
British
with the wind on
Columbia,
this course is
Canada,
that it was very
with
hard
10
to
career
tell
wins under
what
her belt.
direction
Let's
it was
hear it
going.
for
You could feel
Sofia
it on your back,
Donnecke.
but yet the flag would be blowing towards you.
Year two, Sofia representing Innova. And Sofia also has a really athletic background. I believe Harvard rowing, and she's always out on her mountain bike or road bike just ripping up the trails.
She brought her mountain bike to New Zealand.
It's unreal.
From Eugene, Oregon, welcome to the tee, Taylor Chocek.
And Taylor is well known for being one of the FPO players who can throw it over 500 feet.
It was such a treat to play with Taylor and see just the effortless power that she has.
Yeah, and she's going to roll that disc over. It did not like that power and that little bit of left to right.
Well, the wind that we did have was a headwind.
And that rolls back into the center, though.
She burned that into the ground, and she still outdrove me.
Ranked number 2 in the Global Master Series 2024. Put your hands together for Nicola Stout.
That's what we're going to have to find out here.
Have a good round.
Nicola knows how to golf. Definitely not known for her distance, but one of the better FPO players down under. And again, a little early release from Sofia.
Sofia did say that she hasn't been playing a lot this winter, so it's going to take a few holes to get her feet underneath her.
It seems to be the miss when you're nervous too. Is it just your body won't let you hold on to the disc?
Can't see the basket yet. It's down to the right-hand side in the trees.
Francis orange on the bag for Nicola. Now, what's that blue one? Are we going to see a lot of that this weekend?
You sure will. That's a turn.
That's a turn, and it seems like that's the angle that you're loving. Little bit past flat, just a little bit of angle on the disc.
That's my comfort zone.
Looks like Raptor for Taylor. Plenty of power, just a little wide.
And that's a mistake you want to make here because the out of bounds is less than 25 feet to the right-hand side of the basket.
It's tight. Another chip shot for Nicola. Looks like a little Toro for Sofia. Yeah, that's really well thrown.
Oh, you can see just how close the OB is there.
Yeah, that's tight.
And it's downhill towards the OB, so very easy to go long on the approach.
So year 2 coming back here, well, what's the big motivation to make such a big trip to play more disc golf for you?
Do you need much motivation to come to New Zealand?
Yes, there we go.
I haven't been to, I guess compared to maybe the average American, I've been to quite a few countries.
Yeah, you have.
But New Zealand, I really think it ranks number 1 as far as beauty.
Yeah. Love to hear that. It's also number 1 for me in that category. And we spoke past your birdie putt. Nice stroke from 22 feet right there on that left side. That'll get your confidence going.
Yeah, it's not the way I wanted to start. I wanted to start with a drop in, but I'll take it. Hole 2, 315 feet. We're flying up the middle, though most people are going to play out right to the side. This tailwind will then help the disc skip back left towards the basket that we can just see here between these trees.
And of course, we're playing on a ball golf course, actually one of the more renowned courses for the grass out here. And if you hit the golf fairway, you're certainly going to get a lot of skips. Versus if you catch that thick grass right there, that kind of slowed it down.
Yeah, exactly. I was really impressed with this course, not only because of its beauty, but also because of its variety, which you don't always see on a golf course.
Right.
But they did a very good job of mixing things up.
Taylor not able to control the power right there.
And I'm pretty sure that was mid-range.
Yeah. See if Sofia can get a read here and slow it down. Yeah, that's front side of C1. And we'll talk about it quite a bit, but I feel when the wind picks up here at Inglewood that there's certain sides of the basket that you just don't want to land on.
Absolutely.
You might as well be in the bunker if you're on the headwind or the crosswind side of the basket.
Especially on the few baskets that were raised.
Little jump putt approach. Aaron Gossage on the bag and a beautiful putt into the wind. That was right to left, and that helix just pulled it in.
Hitting on the correct side for that wind so that it allows for it to push it a little bit left.
And we're going birdie birdie. You feeling pretty good?
Well, of course.
Now, we played 4 events last year. How many of those 4 did you win?
I was here for 3 of them, and I won all 3.
You went 3 for 3 last year. The competition's a little stiffer this year.
Yes. It might sound funny, but I came into these pretty intimidated to play against these new young
Did you?
girls because they can outthrow me by almost 200 feet. And that's hard on holes like this. Here's another one, 833 feet, though it is a par 5. This basket on this mound is extremely tricky. With the wind, it was very, very hard to land on top of that mound. And if you were not on top of it, you really didn't want to go for the putt.
There's no question that this was the hardest hole on the course. Just on paper alone, it played 2 strokes over par. Look at that. That is not a green screen in the background. It's incredible.
So there is OB both right and left, though it was fairly generous on the left-hand side. It's not until you get to that fence, and there is a fence there, so it's possible to skip under it, but not likely. So the air off the tee is to go too far to the left.
Looks like Sofia grabbing a halo destroyer here.
That disc gets a lot of play this weekend.
All right, pink and blue. Now, while they're throwing their drives, I want to ask you, what is that like when, you know, the players on your card have a completely different game than you? You can't really get a win read off them. How do you stay in your own lane?
Oh, you're exactly right. Can't get a win read because my arm speed is just in a different league than theirs, below theirs.
Yeah.
So I don't have near the power, and I really have to treat it as if I'm playing with MPO players and not let it affect me. But it is such a joy to see women throwing the crap out of the disc.
Just to see it, that's cool.
To be able to see discs easily flying 450, upwards of 500 on a golf line. It's fantastic.
And that is Mount Taranaki in the backdrop. It's a dormant stratovolcano, and we're almost at sea level, and the mountain just rises 8,200 feet up into the air. As you kind of bled that one over a little bit, you missed the initial angle.
I did, exactly. Yep. It's a little too aggressive on that, and it didn't come back.
When you're out here at Inglewood Golf Club, the mount, you can see it from pretty much any section of the course. And
a local told me that it's a shy mountain, and you know there was almost always cloud cover over just the peak, and
Okay.
and that was what they were referring to. So
oh, that's cool.
so that you should feel lucky when you get to see the top of it.
Oh, I love that.
Speaking of seeing the top of it,
We climbed it, and it is one of those hikes that you just won't ever forget. Nicola picking up this same disc. Same speed, same angle. Definitely a very consistent release. Okay, you're picking up something a little different. What's this red one?
that's a Roadrunner.
So is that a little flippier than your turn?
It is, yes, it is flippier, and I wanted to make sure that I was short of the hazard there, though I was much shorter than I wanted.
Because you want to jump putt. You're trying to jump putt across.
That's the ideal,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a very nice approach. She wanted to be a little higher on that hill, but it's hard to get there.
Sophia's in range here. She's going to go standstill putter. And I like it, but that's also a range that you're not really incentivized to run that, are you?
No, this one, we were all scared that was going to land right in the hazard, but it got a lift at the end. But see, it barely got over that hazard, and yet it fell all the way to the back of the mound.
Yeah, this is extra punishing. And similar with that, I mean, it's
Yeah.
only 20 feet, but it's really scary, and the punishment for a miss there is tragic. Let's see what Sofia opts to do. Yeah, she doesn't want it. And that's a big mistake to hit the pole. She'll have...
So she was too accurate on that layup there. If she hadn't hit metal, that probably would have stayed.
And now she's going to send it? And now she's going to go for it. Okay. Whoopsie. You're really wanting that first one back.
I mean, I sort of understand the mindset, because how frustrating is it when you play safe and then it bites you? And so then you're thinking, okay, I'm not going to play safe because that didn't work, so now I'm going to be aggressive, and then that didn't work either.
Oh, it's tough. And you're right at that spot where it's too close. Too close to lay up, but
Yep.
no harm right there.
Thankfully.
I mean, it could have rolled into the hazard. It could have rolled out of bounds. And Sofia going to take the double bogey there after the missed layup. And you're also going to take a double.
Yeah, that hole was a little bit brutal. Fantastic par for Taylor. Some of these holes, the advantage of having another 150, 200 feet off the tee and on the second shot is so valuable. So this is only 240 feet, though it played a little bit longer than that. The basket tucked in to the right underneath these limbs. The wind was coming from the right, so as you're coming into the basket, it's really pushing it down.
Yeah, it's hard to get that forehand to swing all the way back right because of that crosswind that you mentioned. Oh, this is actually... You guys are throwing more directly into the wind over here from this FPO pad.
Right, we're off to the left
Yeah,
a little
I
bit
see
more
now.
than your line.
And a great line from Taylor. Stable disc, probably a zone into the wind right there.
Nicola with a chance for a birdie there, just
Now,
outside the circle.
Did you change discs after seeing
I
some
did.
of that wind?
I did. The wind, because you can't see it, but the wind is coming, and I thought it was just going to knock down my turnover. So I decided to get, that's a leopard, and I was just going to go straighter at it, and instead of trying to turn it
Okay.
in there. Sort of missed my line, went left anyway.
That actually looks like Thunderbird for this forehand shot. Yeah, plenty of power on the hyzer right there.
That's right about the edge of circle one.
Yeah, Sofia was one of those players that just really popped onto the scene quick. It saw her play well at OTB. I believe, wow, Nicola for birdie into the wind.
Nicola is a fantastic putter.
And she's got the go throw, rethrow right here. That is just on the pole.
Leaning with it, helping it to get in the basket. Beautiful shot.
So back to Sofia, she played well at Stockton, but then course record, what was it, 10 under par in Portland.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable. It's like we have a new star on the scene.
Exactly,
just like that.
exactly, yeah.
It felt like the kind of year from Sofia where it changed her outlook on life. Like she wasn't sure if she was going to play professional disc golf, and then all of a sudden it's almost like forced her hand, like, okay, I guess I'm good enough to tour.
Yeah, I think it opened a few doors for her, and she saw the possibility that she could compete with the best of the best.
If you want to know what a disc is going to feel like before you get it, you have to check out OTB disc. The first thing I'm looking for when I grab a new disc is the feel of the disc. It's got to be confidence instilled. Virtually in your hand tells you what the disc is going to feel like, how heavy it's going to be. It's everything you want to know before it shows up to your house.
It's really, really helpful in not only finding a disc that looks beautiful, but is also exactly what you're looking for it to feel like. Of course, when you're dealing with OTB, you're going to get only the best.
Hole 5, 266 feet. The basket is tucked up to the left. The women actually throw from the right. This is the men's line. So we do not throw over that ravine. It plays a little bit farther than 266 because it is slightly uphill, and it is hard to get the disc in that tree line, which you really need to come close to if you want to have a putt.
Nicola's got the box and just a little low. I think she does have the distance to reach this one. Low release there. And Taylor's going slow speed.
Didn't quite get over the top of that one. It's really tricky when you go early into the tree line. There's a lot of trees in your way.
That needs to get back on hyzer. Oh, that's just perfect. What was that disc?
That was a new Roadrunner.
All right, and that's, I mean, to throw a Roadrunner with such touch. Such a skill. It's different, completely different skill than ripping a disc, you know, ripping a driver. It's you get the angle wrong at all on that, and it's gonna roll over.
Well, I mean, you gotta play to your strengths, and right now, well, and I will never again be a power player, and that's just the facts of life as you age. So I need to work the angles.
Oh, little unfortunate reaction there. Gonna leave her 20 feet still.
There is an OB line to the left of the basket that's not more than 12 feet behind it.
Oh, and Taylor's good for it. Good clean up there. What's your overall take on these Helix baskets?
They're fantastic. I did have a couple spit outs, but one was arguably too low and one was arguably too high. But they're so pretty.
They're pretty.
I really aesthetically love the look of them, and I do think that in general they catch very well. Here we are at hole 6, 528 feet. The women are throwing a little bit off to the left of where we started. This is the critical point right here. There's a mandatory on the left that you have to stay to the right of, and then your second shot is going to go underneath all of these trees, low clearance, to a basket that is just so slightly raised.
Now, is it possible to get far right side?
Well, it is for the young girls.
Okay. So you're still playing kind of just past that drop zone for that low ceiling.
That's the ideal shot for me.
Back to the turn.
Exactly.
And this looks great if you can get past that. Okay, that looks like you'll have a lie.
That's about as good as I can expect.
Okay,
there.
cool. Yeah, that's a better angle for Nicola.
No, she just doesn't want to be, behind that bush. She's in a good spot there.
Yeah, a little high. It also seemed a little early for Taylor. Get caught up. If you can throw it far enough and right enough, you have a wide open look to the pin.
Yeah, there's still a line of trees that you have to get under to get to the basket, but they're, barely outside of the circle.
Look at this flexing. Yeah, that's a big shot.
Another thing that the wind was doing was, and it was hard to predict, was whether it was going to throw your disc up in the air or smack it down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about swirling winds. It's so much more difficult than just straight line. When it's changing direction, you would pick up the blades of grass to get a read, and they would seemingly go different directions.
Exactly, it would zigzag on the way down.
And you're going standstill here, trying to use this wind to fade back in. How'd you feel about it?
I liked the line. It was just a little bit weak.
Ouch. Turfed it. Just got on top of it.
Well, this is low clearance the whole way. So she wanted to keep it low, just got it too low.
And gonna leave herself still 18. Didn't want it. I don't blame you at all.
You know what? My percentage of making shots from there is low enough that it didn't seem worth it to get it up in the air with the wind.
And I mean, that's your game too. You don't bleed a lot of strokes in those situations. It's really easy to bleed them here in the wind, and Sofia does not bleed one. From 22, that's a solid putt into a tailwind. But so many people feel the need to try and score at every opportunity, and it's easy to 3-4 putt when the wind's up.
You sometimes come up with the hero shots, but you also get in trouble at times. Hole 7, 522 feet. The women playing off from the right-hand side, throwing across this. The landing zone is right about here, and then you have this alleyway to a narrow green, and there is OB very close on the bottom side and very close behind it, just outside of Circle 1. There's also OB just before the trees on the left-hand side. This was a very interesting hole with a lot of trouble.
They were not very shy about the OB paint on this hole. And where they put it too, at the bottom of the hill. I mean, if your disc rolls down to the right at all, it's toast.
Right,
There's
it's not going to stop before that OB line. Exactly.
And yours skated just back in.
I did not think that was safe.
Okay, so you're sitting there thinking you're out of bounds.
I'm 85% certain that's out of bounds.
Yeah, that's never fun. You're just kind of stewing, watching everyone else throw it in.
Well, there's so much room to the left, although if you can stay on the right-hand side, it does take some distance away on the next shot.
All right, Taylor's like, finally I can throw a hard hyzer, and she does so.
Has a little incline on the left to throw into, so she can stop the disc there.
Yeah, really nice release from Sofia. And she has plenty of power as well.
Oh, she has amazing power.
Yeah, where would you rank her? I mean, she's up there in Tier 1 as far as the other FPO players out there on DGPT.
I don't think her consistency for that power is in Tier 1.
Okay.
But when she does get a hold of one, absolutely it is Tier
Cool.
1.
So you walk up, you see that you're in bounds, which is a relief, and now are you in range?
Yeah, I'm like 210 feet away.
Okay.
I'm close enough that I'm throwing my favorite disc, a putter.
Which is still a JK AVR?
It is.
All right. Gotta plug that in there. I mean, that's one of the most classic discs all time. Actually, one of my first discs ever.
It's crazy to think that that disc is going to turn 25 this year.
That makes a lot of sense, because I was thinking when I was 6, 7 years old. It's really cool. Uh-oh, that's in trouble. Oh. Is that safe?
I believe she is safe,
That's
yes. So that line that we
lucky.
see is the Circle 1 line,
Yeah.
and she's very close to the out of bounds, but I don't believe she's past it.
Now there's really two ways to come up in the game. You can come up playing golf with touch, and then learn power later, or you can learn power and then try and learn some touch. And you know, Taylor's definitely started with the power, and I think the big question remains, can she get that short game dialed? Because that's what she needs to be able to compete out there.
I think without a doubt she can, if she continues to work at it. One thing that is very obvious is that she is coachable. Aaron Gossage, you can see him on the bag right there.
Yeah.
He walked every round, and they discussed most of the shots, and she was very good at listening to what he was saying, and
Cool.
That's only going to benefit her. So here we have hole 8. The women tee off from the left. It's a little bit different angle and not as far, and you can see the fence line on the left. That is out of bounds. It is severely uphill. Like, what do you think? Was that 15 feet
Yeah.
on that terrace on the top? So if you are below the basket,
It could be unmakeable.
exactly.
Yeah.
The angle is such that it's almost too hard.
Yeah.
get
Especially
over
with
the
the
rim.
wind.
Yeah.
The wind direction. You do not want to be low side here. Yeah, 2 great shots.
It's a little bit of an intimidating putt looking out over that
Yeah,
that
nothing but
drop off.
airspace.
Yeah. So you want to be close if you can be.
Oh, we got 3 circle ones right here.
Exactly what you
Look at that smile.
It was perfect.
Yeah, we're gonna go 4 for 4 inside the circle here. Taylor probably has the least favorable wind. She's gonna have a little bit of a right to left. Yeah, this is scary.
Though,
Okay.
as with most young players, it seems like they are fearless, and
Mhm.
Taylor does display that.
Okay, she didn't have the fear yet.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you can be dangerous without the fear. I mean, I still don't feel like Gannon Burr has the fear. You can take it all the way to the top.
I think it's also easier when there's not necessarily something to lose. So I think the climb up, it's easier to be fearless than once you get to the top.
Okay. Yeah, there's some layers of psychology there. That's what's great about our game, right? It's so mental. And another great birdie. This is a quality front 9.
Final hole on the front, 420 feet. This is par 4. This is kind of an interesting hole. You either lay up to this mound right here on the left of this drive, or you try to get it just on the right-hand side of the drive. The basket is obviously significantly raised. And again, with the wind, this was a very tricky basket to putt at. In fact, I never, ever attempted a putt here. I would just lay it up if I was outside of 25 feet.
I don't blame you at all. I saw more 3 putts this weekend than 2 putts.
So that is exactly where I wanted to end up. It's kind of hit or miss whether you have a straight shot or you have to curve it around the bush going towards the basket.
Sophia looking high. Certainly going across the sidewalk here. Oh, yeah.
Pulling it a little too tight.
Oh, that's too tight. Stay clean. That's out of bounds and kind of unforced error right there. Yeah, what a guy to have on the bag. 1030 rated golfer on your bag. That'll help with the learning curve.
Absolutely, and they both throw Discraft, so they know the same plastic. I could...
Okay, look at the power forehand. I mean, to have it both ways, that is a weapon right there. That's an overstable disc that she just crunched on.
I should have counted how many times I said wow after she threw.
That's impressive. I mean, you can tell looking at her too that she's an athlete. I mean, she has the frame. Like, she's got the broad shoulders. Like, looks like she's just gonna annihilate the disc. Okay, a little turnover here into the wind, and
Once again, I liked the line, just not quite strong enough.
it's a good shot, and you're 33 feet out, but there's almost no putt with the
Oh,
wind.
there's no way I'm putting that up in the air.
Yeah. Sophia gonna find some more trouble here.
She does stay out of the out of bounds.
That's fortunate. It's
Yeah, catching those limbs kind of pulled her off to the right a little bit more.
all right. Going for it.
Well, that was to fake out the crowd. I wasn't really going for it.
You're going
It's
for the
just-
deep side of the pin
I
here.
did want to be past it, yes.
And we can't see that flag moving. Again, these are nautical flags, so they take quite a bit of wind to really get them blowing, but those were headwind looks for both you and Nicola.
Yeah, and I didn't want to have a 5 foot putting the bottom of the disc to the wind putt.
Good cleanup there. And Taylor actually had a squeaky clean front 9. You're going to finish at 3. Sophia going to finish at even. Enjoyable course, though.
Very, really fun to play.
Great little town, too. Really just slow-moving town. And that's a great look at the golf club. Just the one mistake there on hole number 3. But 5 birdies. Got to be feeling pretty good about that. Did you have a target in mind? What would you feel like the best score was going to be?
I don't usually think about that because
Okay.
there's too much room for disappointment.
Yeah. Well, you're at the top of the leaderboard. And we've got another DGPT champion down here, Emily Weatherman. Pretty cool to see her and Robert Burge make the trip as well. She's at 2 under par as well as Taylor. And great to see her on camera here. That's a wrap for this front 9 from the Egmonster Disc Golf Classic presented by RPM. Join us for the back 9.